We're in the sim. This is what it looks like. Do one cuts a day. Let's get it. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the YouTube video. My name is Maurice and I'm an airline pilot in training. Today we're going to be doing a Q&A. So I'm going to be answering a lot of your guys' questions. And currently I'm in the hotel room. I'm in simulator training, almost halfway through now. And this is what my day looks like in front of this. This is my setup. Chair flying, guys. No games. If you chair fly, you'll do fine in airline training. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. All right, first question is, what made me want to become a pilot? So definitely, I would say my dad. My dad, ever since I was little, he was a pilot my whole life. He was a F-18, F-14 Navy Top Gun pilot, and then he flew 777s in a cargo airlines for over 32 years. And the way that his lifestyle was and where he was going, it was like the coolest lifestyle to me, and that's how I got into it. I never saw myself doing anything else besides that, so that was it. That's how I got into it. All right, second question. How did you become an airline pilot so young? All right, so basically, I started at 17 years old. That's the age that you can actually get your pilot license. So straight out of high school, I went straight into flight school. I went to CTI flight school in Fort Lauderdale Executive in Florida, and I grinded it out. I studied like crazy, and I got my private pilot license in like a month and a half. So that was the first step. That was the first license I got, private pilot. After that, I went to Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, where I got a degree in aeronautical science, and I got my flight licenses at the same time. So the first license I got was my instrument license at Embry-Riddle, then my commercial, then I did my CFI. My CFI was my certified flight instructor license, and that's the license that allowed me to teach and build up my hours. That's usually what most people do. Usually after your commercial, to build hours, because you need to get 1,500 hours to go to the airlines, you got to get your CFI. So I got my CFI, and then I did my multi-commercial license. I built a bunch of hours. I even got my multi-engine instructor license, which allowed me to build up some twin engine time, which looks good on your resume when you're applying to airlines. And basically that's it. After I got all my flight certificates, I then joined a flight school and just taught. I taught and I got my hours at 20 years old. And then I started applying like crazy to all these airlines, and I went to the one that I'm currently in right now. The thing about it was I was 20 when I got my hours, but legally I could only go into the airline at 21 because that's the restricted ATP minimum age. So I had to wait a little bit to turn 21, and then that's where I'm at right now. All right, next question is opinions on flight instruction. I really enjoyed being a flight instructor. I think that one of the best ways you can improve your craft is teaching people how to do that thing. So when you're a flight instructor, the knowledge that you gain doing that grows exponentially. Especially from commercial to becoming a CFI, you learn a lot. And I really enjoyed it. Some days are stressful, right? You're trying to teach somebody that knows nothing about flying, and eventually they're gonna fly alone. One of the highlights of being a flight instructor for me was teaching my sister and my cousin how to fly. Not everyone can say they did that, so that was pretty rewarding. Especially teaching my sister, that was pretty difficult because obviously the brother and sister dynamic is there instead of a student and flight instructor dynamic. But we pushed through, and now she just passed her CFI check ride yesterday. So time goes by quick. I think she did her private about a year ago, and now look, she's already doing her CFI, and she got her CFI. She's 19 years old now, so she's on track to be an airline pilot at 21 as well. So that was pretty cool. Next question is flight school hard? It's definitely not easy, right? But you don't need to be a genius to be able to do it. I know goons that are flying airplanes right now. So I think that if you're just disciplined, you're consistent, and you study hard and you work hard, anyone can do it, really. As long as you do those things, you're studying, you're on top of your stuff, you fly consistently, right? You want to make sure that you're flying around 2 to 3 times a week, because if you don't, you're going to lose that proficiency. The more you fly, I know it costs more every week, but it's going to be very beneficial because your proficiency is going to be a lot higher than if you only flying once a week. So I would definitely say fly more consistently and make sure you have a good instructor. Having a good instructor is key in making the whole flight training process nice and smooth, right? If you don't get along with your flight instructor, it's not gonna work. So you gotta have a good relationship with your flight instructor. Obviously, you have to have a flight instructor who's knowledgeable and not just trying to take your money, because there's a lot of flight instructors out there that just trying to get their hours and go to the airlines. That's a red flag. You do not want a flight instructor like that. Try to find one that is actually trying to help you out instead of just trying to get their hours and go to the airlines. So that's key. All right, next question. Best tip on passing your check ride. I would definitely say the best tip on passing your check ride is being prepared. The more prepared you are, the more confident you're going to be going into that check ride. And remember, the check airman is not there to fail you. They don't want to fail you. They want you to pass. So if you go in thinking, all right, this guy is a scary guy, I don't know. Check airmen are normal people. They want you to pass. They want to see you succeed. But you have to be prepared. As long as you're prepared and you're confident with your answers, you'll be fine. Another tip is just answer the question that the check airman asked you. Don't go in depth, just answer that question. Super common error I see on check rides and common reason why people fail is the student will try to answer more than the check airman actually asked. And then they'll say something wrong. And if the check airman hears something wrong, the check airman is going to try to dig deeper and deeper, and then you're just going to dig a hole for yourself, and then you're going to be screwed. So don't do that. Next question is tips on getting hired at the airlines. So first of all, make sure you have all your requirements. You need all the hours. There's no way around that. After you get your hours, network. Remember, your network is your net worth, my friends. So go out to all the job expos. There's so many out there. You can go to Latino Pilot Association. You have Women Pilot Association. There's so many out there. They post them all the time. Go to those, meet pilots, send your resumes out. That's crucial. And another tip, definitely join the cadet programs. A lot of airlines offer it. You'll get benefits such as mentorship from an actual pilot in that airline. You might get travel benefits. And the huge benefit is a lot of the cadet programs, once you interview to become a cadet, that's it. You don't have to interview again to become a first officer. So say you have 200 hours and you interview and you pass the cadet interview, now you're a cadet. Once you do finally get your hours, you just let them know and they'll try to give you a class. You don't have to pass any more interviews and you go right into the airline. That's something I wish I knew earlier. I wish I joined more cadet programs earlier so I would have more of a selection of airlines to pick. Because right now, hiring is a little iffy. It's starting to start back up again. It's just a cycle. But if you're not in a cadet program, the airlines are not going to prioritize you. Airlines prioritize hiring the cadets before they hire anybody outside of the cadet program. So definitely join the cadet programs. Next question is, how has my experience been so far in airline training? Airline training so far has been great. The instructors are great. The people that work in the airline are great. And one thing, it is a lot of work. You're going to study a lot. You're going to be studying all day. People use the analogy of it's like drinking water from a fire hydrant. It is a lot of work and it's a lot of knowledge packed in a small amount of time. But it's doable, okay? If you just put the work in, if you study 2 to 3 hours a day, you should be fine. I finished the first month and now I'm currently in the simulator training process. And my first step now is passing my MV, which is my maneuvers validation, where I'm going to be tested flying the simulator, doing ILS approaches, single engine, V1 cuts, single engine go arounds, maneuvering stalls, steep turns, all the fun stuff. So basically, that's the next step. After I pass my MV, then the next part of training is passing my type ride. That's where I'm going to actually get the license, my type rating to fly the airplane that I'm going to be flying in the airlines. After getting my type rating in the airplane, that's when I'm going to go straight into LOE, which is line operating experience. Basically, I'm going to be flying passengers for real in the actual airplane for the first time. So that's going to be the fun part. So next question is, how has it been transitioning to a jet? So transitioning to a jet definitely takes some getting used to, but just like everything, the more you do it, the more practice you have, the better you're gonna get. I remember the first day, especially in the simulator, it's definitely very, very different than flying a Cessna, obviously. So it takes some getting used to, but once you get it, it's just like flying a Cessna. Next question is, do pilots really fly for free? The answer is kind of. We have a system called non-revving, which allows you to fly on empty seats. So if there is extra seats available on the airplane, you can take it and go on that flight. But if there are paying passengers and the flight is completely full and there's no spots available, it won't work. Pilots are also able to do something called jump seating, which allows you to fly in the cockpit instead of the cabin. So if the cabin is completely full, you're able to sit in the cockpit as long as it's cool with the captain. Next question, craziest experience I've had as a pilot. I would definitely say there was one flight while I was a flight instructor. I was teaching the student how to do stalls, and I demonstrated first. I pitched up a lot, and then you break the angle of attack to recover. I demonstrated that, and then I started. Now it's the student's turn. So then the student goes from a high angle of attack, and then he breaks the angle of attack, but too much, and he goes full down on the yoke. So now we're floating in the sky, 0 G's, and the airplane is pushed completely down, heading straight to the ground. And the student was in such shock that he had the arms locked completely. So I was trying to like slap the arms out of the way. I'm like, get out, get my flight controls. And then I eventually got it back and recovered. And let's just say that was a crazy flight. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you guys want to see next in the comments. I'm currently working on part 2 of airline pilot training behind the scenes. Since you guys liked that first one so much, coming up with the second one. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Instrument rated.